Amaka checked her reflection in the hallway mirror one last time, tugging nervously at the edge of her blouse. She had never imagined she'd be doing this, going on a blind date for her best friend, Sarah. Under the pretense of a medical emergency, Lagos was alive tonight, its city lights flickering like scattered stars, the sound of car horns and distant music filling the air. Amaka's heart pounded in sync with the city's rhythm. She wasn't supposed to enjoy this. She wasn't supposed to stay long. She was only here to help Sarah avoid embarrassment. And yet, the anticipation made her stomach flutter. Her phone buzzed with Sarah's last-minute instructions. Just be polite, talk a little, then leave. Don't let him know it's me. You've got this. Amaka sighed, exhaled, and pushed open the restaurant door. The interior was softly lit, the kind of warm, upscale space where strangers leaned in over conversations, where laughter and the clinking of glasses created an intimate rhythm. And there he was, Ethan. Ethan stood as Amaka approached, smiling politely, the kind of smile that immediately made strangers feel at ease. His tailored suit hinted at success, but his warm gaze suggested approachability. I'm Ethan, he said, holding out a hand. Amaka shook it, trying to keep her nerves under control. Amaka, she replied softly. She took a seat and quickly decided honesty was safer than maintaining the lie. I need to tell you something, she said, her voice just above the ambient noise. I'm actually here for my friend, Sarah. She couldn't make it. She said she had a medical emergency. I'm really sorry for the deception. Ethan blinked, slightly surprised, then, unexpectedly, he smiled, calm, curious, and open. Thank you for being honest, he said. Honestly, I was just hoping for a good conversation tonight. Loneliness makes people try strange things sometimes. That small moment broke the tension. They talked about Lagos, about work stress, about the small annoyances that everyone tried to ignore but secretly fumed over. Amaka found herself laughing genuinely, something she hadn't expected. And Ethan listened, really listened, in a way that made her feel seen, understood, and respected. Time flew. The evening stretched far longer than the 10 minutes she had intended to endure. Yet when the bill arrived, she realized she hadn't wanted to leave. Finally, outside under the Lagos night sky, Amaka turned to him. I like you, she admitted, carefully choosing her words. I'd like to keep you in my life, as a friend, and I think you and Sarah might actually get along really well. Ethan's smile widened slightly. The one who sent you? Yes, Amaka said, a small laugh escaping. She's wonderful, just a little scared of new situations. They hugged, brief, respectful, careful, and when they parted, neither could have predicted how much that single evening would ripple into their lives. That night, Amaka dreamed of him, and Ethan, too, found sleep haunted by thoughts of her, somewhere in the heart of Lagos. A small lie had rewritten their futures, and no one involved would ever forget it. Have you ever done something for a friend that changed your own life unexpectedly? What would you have done in Amaka's shoes? Hey there, my wonderful family and friends, welcome back. If you're ready to dive into today's story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. I love seeing where everyone's watching. And guess what? There's another amazing story coming your way tomorrow, one you definitely don't want to miss. Alright then, let's get started. Amaka had never felt quite this nervous in her life. Her first day at the new firm in Lagos was supposed to be exciting, a chance to prove herself, step into a better career, and leave the past behind. Instead, her stomach churned with anticipation. Today, she would meet her team, navigate the sprawling office, and attempt to make a good impression. The lobby was impressive, polished marble floors, glass walls, sleek reception desks, and employees in crisp business attire moving with purpose. She adjusted her blazer, straightened her skirt, and whispered to herself, "You've got this. Just be professional." Her task for the morning seemed simple enough: deliver a package to the CEO's office. She carried the folder carefully, each step echoing in the quiet hallway. As she approached the executive suite, she noticed the chair at the desk was turned away. Heart pounding, she knocked softly. "Good morning, mister?" A calm voice interrupted her hesitation. "Amaka?" She froze, her heart skipped a beat. It was him. Ethan turned in his chair, his piercing gaze locking with hers. Recognition flashed in both their eyes, the man she had met on the blind date. The one she never expected to see again was now her CEO. "Oh, I didn't know," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. He smiled faintly, a mix of surprise and warmth. "I know, life has a funny way of surprising us." For a moment, time seemed to slow, the hum of the office outside faded, leaving only the two of them in a shared bubble of astonishment and unspoken recognition. From that day, everything changed. Ethan didn't make a scene publicly. He maintained his CEO composure. Months had passed since the revelation that Ethan, the man Amaka had met on the blind date, was her CEO. Life at the office had settled into a rhythm, but the tension between them never truly faded. Every glance, every interaction carried a subtle weight, a quiet acknowledgement of something neither dared name aloud. Amaka had grown into her role with confidence. She navigated the corporate world with skill, delivering sharp presentations, leading projects with precision, and earning respect from her colleagues. Yet every day brought reminders of Ethan. He noticed everything: the way she paused before speaking in meetings, the subtle determination in her eyes, the way she organized her tasks meticulously, and though his demeanor remained calm, professional, and authoritative, there was an undeniable awareness of her presence that permeated every interaction. Office gossip began to bubble, the whispers subtle but persistent. Does she get special treatment? Why is the CEO so attentive to her? Something's going on between them. Even Ethan's girlfriend began to notice small things: the shared smiles, the quiet looks exchanged in corridors, the way he subtly encouraged her ideas in meetings. Yet everyone, including Amaka herself, understood the importance of boundaries. Still, the pull between them was magnetic. Amaka found herself remembering that night at the restaurant, her nerves, the conversation, Ethan's warm smile, the unexpected emotional connection. That brief evening had planted a seed that neither had nurtured into romance. But the feelings were undeniable. Every time their eyes met across a boardroom table, every time he offered advice in a one-on-one meeting, the memory stirred quietly. Ethan, for his part, maintained professional composure, yet privately wrestled with his own emotions. He valued Amaka's presence, admired her competence, and felt a deep, silent connection that went beyond mentorship or friendship. But he had a responsibility to himself, to his company, and to the boundaries they had carefully constructed. The tension grew when Amaka became engaged. The news arrived via a casual office conversation, but the weight of it was enormous. The engagement ring on her finger was a symbol of commitment and trust, and it made Ethan aware of the choices they both had made in Restraint. Yet, every interaction between them became heavier, more charged. Amaka noticed it too. She felt the pull of familiarity and attraction whenever he was nearby. The way his presence lingered in her mind long after meetings ended. She loved her Fiang, respected the life she was building, yet she couldn't deny the quiet admiration she held for Ethan. Their unspoken bond deepened with subtle gestures, a knowing glance in the corridor, a quiet nod of encouragement, shared laughter over small office victories. It was intimacy without physicality, a connection built on recognition, admiration, and restraint. Coworkers noticed the tension, eyes followed their movements, conversations paused when they approached, whispers filled the air, and yet, nothing inappropriate occurred. Every action was measured, careful, respectful. The dynamic became a delicate dance, Amaka striving to remain professional while managing her curiosity and attraction, Ethan balancing his personal feelings with his role as CEO, mentor, and leader. Every encounter became a test of willpower. One glance could trigger weeks of inner conflict. One brief smile could unravel composure. Yet both remained disciplined. Ethan continued to support Amaka professionally, offering guidance, subtle mentorship, and advice. "Remember, Amaka," he said during a mid-afternoon check-in, "confidence isn't about being loud. It's about knowing your worth and standing firm. People notice sincerity. She listened, grateful, conflicted, aware of the tension that lingered just beneath professionalism. She appreciated his advice but understood the unspoken line that neither of them could cross. And then came moments of social pressure, after work events, company parties, casual team lunches. The office whispers intensified, curious glances scrutinizing every interaction. Yet, in the controlled environment of their professional lives, the bond remained invisible to outsiders. The story between them was no longer about the blind date. It was about the quiet understanding that had grown over months, mutual respect, deep recognition, and a shared awareness of what they could never act upon. Through it all, Amaka learned something profound. Love, admiration, and emotional connection do not always require action. Some relationships exist in restraint, in shared understanding, in subtle acknowledgement of desire without fulfillment. By the end of the act, the emotional tension had peaked. Their mutual attraction, awareness, and connection were undeniable, but so was their commitment to boundaries. It was the kind of love story that could not be dramatized publicly. A narrative written in glances, in measured words, in quiet moments that passed almost unnoticed, and yet, the impact was real. Every day in the office, every interaction, reinforced the depth of their connection, proving that some of the strongest emotional bonds are those carefully restrained, quietly nurtured, and never acted upon. Amaka walked through the office hallways with a mixture of pride and longing. Aware of the subtle tension in the air, Ethan maintained his composed CEO demeanor, yet the knowledge of their shared history lingered in every decision, every glance, every word, and in that quiet awareness, something beautiful had grown, a connection that didn't need fulfillment to feel profound, a story of feelings that no one touched but that shaped both of their lives. Have you ever felt a connection so strong you couldn't act on it? Could you maintain restraint, even if your heart wanted otherwise? The day of the wedding arrived like a warm golden sunrise over Lagos. The air was thick with excitement, laughter, and the faint scent of jasmine drifting from the floral arrangements. Amaka stood in the bridal suite for a final reflection, her heart beating rapidly. Today she would marry her fiancé, the man who had loved her patiently and fully, someone she trusted completely. Yet underneath the radiant smile and composed posture, a subtle current of emotion lingered. Memories of Ethan surfaced. The blind date that had never truly belonged to her, the long nights of conversation, and the quiet connection that had grown in the office over months. Ethan arrived at the venue, accompanied by his girlfriend. He was calm, composed, the tailored suit perfectly fitted, projecting authority as the CEO he was, but with a softness in his eyes reserved for moments only he could allow himself. And then their eyes met. A silent recognition passed between them. They shared no words, only a brief glance that carried the weight of everything unspoken. Past dinners, secret dreams, emotional connections, and restrained longing. The ceremony commenced. Guests filled the white chairs, the sound of soft instrumental music blending with murmurs of anticipation. Amaka walked down the aisle, radiant and poised, her smile capturing everyone's attention. Ethan stood among the guests, observing quietly, acknowledging silently the woman who had changed his life in ways he could not act upon. The vows were exchanged, the rings slipped onto fingers, the I dos were spoken. Amaka's smile was genuine, full of joy, yet tempered with awareness of the connection she had with Ethan. For him, watching her commitment solidified his respect and admiration. He had played a silent role in her life, guiding, mentoring, protecting, all without expectation, all without crossing boundaries. At the reception, amid laughter, music, and clinking champagne glasses, Ethan found a quiet moment to approach Amaka. Away from the crowd, outside under the gentle Lagos night sky, the city lights twinkling in the distance, they shared a space that felt suspended in time. Amaka, Ethan began, voice low but steady, I have to ask, did you ever dream about me the night we met? Amaka froze, memories flooded back, the restaurant, The conversation that lasted far longer than expected. The way he had seen her in a way no one else had. Yes, she admitted softly, meeting his gaze. He exhaled, relief and longing blending together. I did too, he confessed. And I've carried it for a long time. The silence that followed was heavy, charged with unspoken desire and restraint. They moved closer, faces mere inches apart, the pull between them undeniable. For a fleeting heartbeat, the world seemed to vanish. The connection that had grown quietly over months, through stolen glances, subtle encouragements, and professional mentorship, became almost tangible. Then, almost simultaneously, they stepped back. A small laugh broke the tension, tinged with relief and sorrow. Words were unnecessary in that moment. They both understood. We want this, but we can't. They hugged briefly, respectfully, fully aware of the lives and commitments at stake. It was a hug that conveyed affection, gratitude, and unspoken acknowledgement of everything that could never be acted upon. The rest of the evening was a celebration of love, friendship, and choice. Amaka danced with her husband, surrounded by friends and family, while Ethan quietly observed, content with the knowledge that she was happy, fulfilled, and safe. His role was that of protector and mentor, a presence felt but never intrusive. Through it all, the office whispers and speculation remained in the background. Colleagues, friends, even his own partner noticed the subtle connection between them. Yet all understood, nothing inappropriate had occurred. It was a bond built on integrity, restraint, and shared respect. Later, as the night wound down and guests began to depart, Ethan and Amaka shared one final glance in a quiet corridor. Vulnerability shone in their eyes, a mixture of longing, understanding, and acceptance. For a moment, it seemed like the world could bend. That desire might overtake reason, but they didn't. Simultaneously, they turned away, choosing respect over passion, commitment over temptation. Their mutual decision was a testament to self-control, moral integrity, and the strength of character that had defined both of them. Amaka moved forward into her marriage, her heart whole, her dignity intact. Ethan remained at the helm of his company, respected, powerful, yet quietly protective of her future. Their relationship became an unspoken legend, a love story defined not by actions, but by choice, restraint, and understanding. As the Lagos night deepened, the city lights reflecting in their eyes, it became clear, sometimes the strongest love stories are not the ones lived, but the ones restrained, the ones that shape lives quietly, profoundly, and without a single action. And that was their story. A connection built on honesty, respect, and restraint, lasting far beyond fleeting desires, teaching a lesson that love sometimes means letting go, even when your heart refuses to. Have you ever had a connection so strong you knew you couldn't act on it? Could you walk away from someone you truly desired, knowing it was the right choice?
Thank you for watching all the way through. If this story moved you, the next one will surprise you in ways you won't expect. Go ahead and click the video on your screen. Your next story awaits.